So one thing that I've been doing a lot of work on now, since I'm working with a tech company, really understanding what some of these new tools can do, agentic AI, large language models, even small language models. Now that we have these things at our disposal, we can do different things with the risk-based approach and the risk assessment that I think are taking us into a whole nother sort of compliance environment, totally different than what we've been subjected to in the past, and we've gotten used to over the decades, that traditional risk-based approach. But I think what we've kind of seen is it's really risk-based in name only. Where we want to get to is really around continuous risk alignment. So all of your execution is risk-based. Everything is risk-based. But in order to be able to achieve that, obviously the manual processes, the delayed risk updates to control recalibrations, that has to go by the wayside, and we have to figure out a way to do it that's more automated and more continuous. So as opposed to an annual risk assessment looking at how we can achieve a living risk model that's refreshed continuously, rather than using static rules and fixed thresholds, we now have technology that can almost constantly be testing and simulating so that those rules can become more dynamic, the thresholds, the parameters, all the ways those controls are calibrated, the factors in your customer risk rating. All of that stuff can be continuous, but I think even more compelling is the fact that we now have large language models, small language models, where that AI can be applied to sets of information that are so broad and deep that it would take humans, I mean, forget about hours, days, weeks, months, right? Years potentially to be able to ingest all of that information, make sense of it, and then determine recommendations for how your control inventory can be adjusted for it. So now we have tools that can make it, versus a reactive risk-based approach, can take us into an adaptive, sort of more nimble approach that's automated and continuous. And of course, that's how the criminals are operating, right? So if we don't start to operate more like them, right, they're obviously going to be using AI in their own ways. If we are not using AI and these technology tools in our way for compliance purposes, and to, sort of keep up with them, then we're going to fall even more behind than we've been sort of all these years.